guys, it's Monday. I hope everyone's day is off to an amazing start. I am on my way to have my mammogram done. I turned 45 a few days ago, and what I like to do is schedule my mammograms and other exams just, you know, around the time that I have a birthday. That way I don't forget it. But I've been having mammograms done since turning 37. That's very important, you ladies out there. So make sure if you're not getting your mammograms done that, you know, if you're in the age range, you know, that you start getting those done, because we want to make sure that we are here for our loved ones. So that's where I'm headed this morning. I have my cool seats on in the car. I have the air blasting because if you get mammograms, then you know that you cannot put on any deodorant prior to going. You can't put on any lotions or any perfumes or anything like that. They want you to show up just real natural smelling. I think it kind of interferes with the machines, and you know, you want to get the most accurate report possible. So I'm just trying to really think cool thoughts this morning. But yeah, that's what I'm doing this morning. So I hope you guys, like I said, are having a good Monday. And I'll see you guys later. I have not done any crafting or DIY projects in like forever. And I just really have the urge to do so. So right now we are headed to the Goodwill, one of my favorite Goodwills here near me, to see if there's anything in there that gets my little creative juices going or that sparks my attention. So I will see you guys at Goodwill. So I wandered around the store a little bit and I ended up in the furniture section. When I saw those tables, I immediately thought bench. We've actually been needing some extra seating for the theater room, so a bench would be a great project. I decided on this particular table right here, the length of it, the size, everything was just perfect. And for 39 bucks, I was sold. I'm like sitting on it right now, and it's really, really sturdy. So I think it would be great to use as a bench in the theater room. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pay for it and then load it up, and I will be sure to show you guys the whole process of how I kind of make it over. Did you guys see Eric's hair? I neglected to tell you guys that I'm also a barber. And unfortunately, I'm not accepting any new clients. Alright, not really. Eric and Chase, they're spoiled. They don't like going to the barbershop. So, me being me, learned how to cut their hair. And so, about every 2 weeks I give them haircuts. Yep, that is me. But gosh, it feels funny to be outside and not doing any gardening today. However, you see that? I do have on my gardening boots. But today I am going to do my little Goodwill makeover project, and I'm going to do it outside. But I wanted to show you guys this tree that I planted. It is actually a red dogwood tree. It'll have red flowers on it, you know, once it matures, and it's doing really great because when I purchased it, it didn't have any of those stems and leaves on it that you see right now. But this area that I'm standing in, this is a little bed that I created, And I created it so that I would have somewhere to plant my my little seedlings. I put them outside and planted them. I hope you guys can see it. They're doing really good. They're going to turn like a blue color, but that's not what we're out here to do. We're not gardening today. So let me show you my little setup for my little DIY bench project. Well, I won't even say DIY, but kind of like makeover bench project. So here's the table. As you can see, it's a little scuffed up, but these leaves are going to be taken off. I'm going to take these off. I'm going to have Eric get his drill and hook it up for me, and then I'll take these off, and then I'm going to sand down the top a little bit and just paint it. And I didn't really get any expensive paint because the only thing that's going to show are the legs, and then I'll be using, not sure if I'm going to actually, or what I'm going to actually use it for, but I went ahead and picked up some adhesive spray. I have this foam for the top of the bench, and just in case I didn't get enough foam, I have this batting. I already had the batting here at the house. So, oh, that is a huge bug. You know what? Let me go get me some mosquito spray too, because I don't need to be out here getting the Zika virus. And I think I'll probably just do a voiceover. I don't think I'm going to be able to go through it step by step because the birds out here are so loud and it is kind of windy. So let me get my bug spray on, get the drill, and we will get started. So after showering in a little bug spray, I took the drill and began removing the leaf from each side of the table. And I'm sorry I didn't show you guys the sanding process. I actually had to go back into the garage for that, but here I'm just applying a few coats of the spray paint, and I did allow for drying between each coat. After allowing the final coat to dry, I applied an even layer of the spray adhesive, and once it was tacky, I applied my batting and I cut it to size. And just a disclaimer, this is the way I chose to create my bench. I'm sure there are numerous ways out there to do a bench, but this is just mine. Really simple, quick, and easy. So using a staple gun, and I forgot to mention that in the items that I use, but yeah, using a staple gun, I secured the edges. And again, this is just my technique for the bench. Again, really simple, quick, and easy. And that's just a quick shot of the staple gun that I use. And so, all right, after the batting was secure, I placed an additional layer of the adhesive and then secured my foam. And finally, I added my fabric. I loved how it turned out. It was really quick. It's so comfortable too. And I could hardly wait to see how it would look in the space. Just really comfortable. Alright, so now that the bench is complete, let's go inside of the media room or theater room, whatever you want to call it, and see just how well it works in the space. We love these fully functioning French doors that lead right into the theater room. Once inside, we are greeted by the huge TV. It's always a favorite with the guys when they come over, but also these IKEA consoles. It's actually 2 consoles that we purchased from IKEA, and Eric once again did a great job putting them together. It's great for serving food. You can see right there that we have some little snacks on top of it right now, but it's great to use as a buffet. There are our comfy, very comfy theater seats. They are just the most plush seats you'd ever want to rest your bottom on. They even recline back to almost what seems like a twin bed. They are just always a favorite. As you can see there, it comes with cup holders and a little space there for putting extra little snacks and treats in for your guests. And believe it or not, these pictures, these retro pictures that you see here actually were the inspiration for the overall retro look of the theater room. And also, just like downstairs, the upstairs theater room is wired for surround sound. So really giving you that nice theater feel. Oh, and those valances, guys, if you go to Instagram, I actually have pictures of me creating those valances. Yep, sure did. So back here, this is like our little dry bar area. These cabinets hold extra snacks and goodies for not only our family, but the guests. And don't you just love a good box of Cracker Jack? And there again, adding to the retro feel is that little red microwave. We have a refrigerator over there. And this little stainless top cart houses our flatware, and we use all plastic upstairs. Nope, not ashamed to say that we use plastic upstairs to eat with. And so yeah, that's what's in that drawer. And then right beneath there, we have these baskets that hold napkins, paper plates. There's some extra drinks and cups down there also. But my absolute favorite part of the theater room is this popcorn machine. Not only is it just amazing to look at, I just love it, but once you open it up, it offers up extra storage for all of our little popcorn accessories. And guys, I ordered that from Amazon.com. The popcorn also I ordered from Amazon, and it tastes amazing. And so there's a look at the bench. It looks great in the room. Love it, and I hope you enjoyed this little tour. Hi guys, welcome to Tea Time with Tan and Eric. Today's tea time looks a little bit different. We are just back from the grocery store, and I need to get started on the meal prep for the week, so I'm doing the salads right now. But it's gonna still be the regular tea time. I'm just up doing this. But anyway, the topic for today's tea time is neighbors and the relationships that you have with your neighbors. So, how many of you, when you move into a new home or, apartment, condo, whatever, how many of you try to forge relationships with your neighbors? How many of you have done that in the past, and how well has that worked out for you? When we talked about friends a few videos ago, a few tea times ago, when you have certain friends that, you have a falling out with, you can, not hang out with those friends anymore, not let your kids play with those neighbors, those friends anymore. But when you have neighbors, you have a mortgage, or you're paying your rent or whatever. It's not as easy to, get up and go or distance yourself from those relationships. So what do you do?
We started out, I think originally like in our first house, we made friends with the neighbors, but over the years, we've just found that typically it starts out pretty good, but unfortunately for the most part, it usually doesn't end that way. Not in all cases, but in a lot of cases. And I feel like it kind of goes back to the whole friends thing. And one of the biggest issues you can have with friends is the whole competition thing. And when your friends are your neighbors, the whole competition thing gets multiplied because you're in direct competition with somebody that's
I don't even think you're in competition with the person.
Well, yeah, or they might be in competition with you because
we've never been in competition with any of our neighbors.
Exactly. So, for example, like our first house.
Yeah, our first house. Not to cut you off, babe, but our first house, beautiful home, lovely neighborhood. It was our first home, and you think it would just be the perfect situation. Ironically enough, our neighbors actually graduated from the same college that we graduated from.
Our neighbors across the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, the neighbor across the cul-de-sac, both of them, the husband and wife, graduated from the same college we graduated from around the same time, right?
Yeah,
around the same time. And then the neighbors to our right, the wife was actually an educator. And at the time, I think I was either on my last year of teaching or, just had recently finished up. And, once you're an educator, always an educator. So I had a lot in common, and the kids were actually around the same age too.
Yeah, and it started out really good. Like, we hung out with everybody in the cul-de-sac was cool, but we hung out with those two neighbors
the most.
Yeah. But then the competition thing reared its ugly head because, as you guys know, if you watch this channel, my wife is really into gardening and yard stuff. So even back then in our first house, she was really into
It's just
yard.
something that I've always had an affinity for.
Yeah.
I just love being out in the yard. I just love gardening. I just love it.
And we even got like yard of the month a couple of times.
Yeah, we got yard of the month twice. And so they did not like the fact that I was out in the yard. Now, mind you, you guys, have seen some of my gardening videos. I'm not out there in the yard in, Daisy Dukes or...
No, it was a competition thing. They didn't like the fact that our yard, I think they felt like because our yard looked a certain way and we set a certain standard, they had to meet that standard.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, they didn't want to meet it, which,
Yeah, and that was their prerogative. Everyone is not into gardening or, yard beautification.
Absolutely not.
Don't hate the next man for doing, what they, seemingly love to do. And so I just think with me being outside gardening, Eric, doing the lawn maintenance and whatever, I think it kind of cast a shadow on them. Maybe they felt like we were thinking, they're less of a neighbor because they don't keep their yard up.
And a couple of them told us we were out in the yard too much. Like, who tells somebody
they told us that we were out in the yard too much? Who does that?
Yeah. There was also the issue. So, when you have neighbors, you might go visit a neighbor's house. You might actually come in and hang out, but then you have to be respectful, and your children have to be respectful.
Oh my gosh.
Of that person.
Yes. So again, we've just, from the first to the third home, we really haven't had, that great of luck with our relationships with neighbors. We go in, like we said, everything is cool, but then as the years kind of progress, I don't know, something just kind of manifests itself within the neighborly relationship, and it doesn't work out. So another instance was, like I said, several of the neighbors on the cul-de-sac had kids around the same age. This one in particular, her son, even though he was the same age as Chase, he was just he was rough. He was a little bit rough for my taste. And when we were over there, Chase was about, I think, 3 around this time. And I think she had a problem with the fact that I did not allow Chase to really play with her son the way she wanted to. The kid used to bite.
He was rough. He was big. He was a bigger kid.
He was a big kid.
And these are, they're 3 and 4, so they're little babies. You can't really tell them, don't do this.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was like 2, 3 years old around this time. But yeah, he was a big kid. And she kind of took offense to the fact that I didn't allow, them to really play together the way that she wanted them to. And then, as women, we kind of keep our houses differently too. Also, I didn't invite her over as much as I think she wanted also, because she would come over with him and he'd have his sippy cup. And back then, the sippy cups weren't as advanced as they are now. And he'd be walking through the house with his sippy cup dripping juice just all throughout my house, and she wouldn't say a word.
He got mad when you started.
And then would get upset with me when I would come behind him and start cleaning it up. I never said anything to her, but I would just go ahead and get the spills up. And this happened on more than one occasion. And she would always say, well, you can't always have your house so clean. You have a child now. This is just what kids do. And no.
Yeah, I don't let my child go over somebody else's house.
No, you don't do that. If that's what you do at your house, that's fine. But it's disrespectful, to other people's property to come over and let your kids just do whatever.
That was our first house. So then that was out in the suburbs, nice, very typical.
Okay. So we obviously have moved from that particular house. But how about when they learned that we were moving? She did tell me that we were never going to sell our house. That this was around the housing.
This is right before the housing crisis. Right when it started.
Yeah, this was right at the little tip of the housing crisis, and I think she was actually doing real estate then, and she just swore me up and down that we were not going to be able to sell our house, and
we were wasting our time, and we sold it. And so there was some animosity because we were moving, but
So
people's
like 3
lives
weeks
change.
too.
Yeah, people's lives change, and we weren't the first people to move off the cul-de-sac.
No.
We were the third of like the original owners to move. So it was just the neighborhood was going through a transition, and we decided to move.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything personal. You can't get mad because your neighbor is making a change.
Yeah, she just because we were close. At one point, they wanted us to stay, and we had all actually talked about, leaving, moving away at one point or another, but I guess, they didn't mean it.
So when we moved, we made the decision at that point. That was a very typical suburban cul-de-sac neighborhood. We decided to move more into the city. So in Atlanta, it's like a lot of cities. When you move into the city, you get less land and it's a little bit more compact. So we moved into a townhouse, kind of in the city limits. Mm-hmm. And so in this neighborhood, because it's inside the city, it's not as suburban. You don't have as many kids. So we were really happy because, again, we found out literally two doors down. There was another, she was a single woman, but she had a child. Went to the same college
that we did. Graduated around the same time. We didn't know her. We didn't know the neighbors before her.
Right.
But it was just like fate. We all went to the same college. She had a son, same age.
Yeah.
And his name, almost the same name as Chase. So we were like, perfect.
Yeah, and
match made in heaven. Perfect.
And it started out okay. She was always a little kind of standoffish, but I think where the relationship with her started to sour is we had put Chase in the same school as her son, but the school, it just wasn't a fit for Chase.
Yeah.
So, education.
I don't know if you guys remember several years ago when I told you about, us deciding to take Chase out of that particular school. Chase was in the school for 5 days.
Yeah.
And during that week, I learned that it just wasn't going to be a fit for us.
Yeah, it wasn't personal. Had nothing to do with her or her family. We just decided to take him out. And I think she was the type of person that, again, the competition thing, some people you meet, they just, I think, feel like always have to be above you. And I think also some people have a certain status because they keep people around them that are maybe, not on their level. So, they kind of have people around them that, kiss their ass.
That make people, this particular individual wanted to have people around her that made her look good. They made her shine because they didn't necessarily have their lives together. But those are the people that she chose to hang around with. I remember hanging around. I remember she invited me to go bowling. We were taking the kids to go bowling, several years back, and some of her friends were there. And I was just really taken aback, babe, because I was just like, I wouldn't necessarily,
you wouldn't have thought they would have hung out with her.
I wouldn't think these would be the people that she hung out with, but she did.
So I think when she met us, she really saw it as competition. She was instantly competitive from the jump. And we could kind of sense it, but it just got worse.
And we just couldn't, we were just like, just so we were just so perplexed, like, why is there a competition? We all went to the same school. We're living in the same neighborhood, literally 2 doors down. What is the problem?
But it's just one of those situations where you just instantly meet people and they instantly decide they don't like you for whatever reason. Don't really know you, but just decide, I don't like them. They're competition.
Thought when we moved in, she was going to be able to lord over us.
Yeah, it was.
No, wrong couple.
Absolutely. And along those lines, she was recently divorced or going through a divorce.
Yeah, I think she was going through a divorce at the time.
And I think, divorce is a tough thing. I get it, And I think because of that, she kind of looked at our relationship and our marriage, and I think, quite frankly, there was some jealousy there. But it's not like we lorded our marriage over. We were very casual.
I mean, we just continually tried to hang out with her. I remember we would go to the gym. We were members of the same gym. We would go to the gym. I think at the time, Chase and her son were even playing that little league basketball.
They were the same basketball.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she was so standoffish and just weird.
Yeah, some people, it's just funny as you get older and you just meet people, you just learn some people are just like that. They're very standoffish. They put people in a particular pocket and that's all they see you as. Everybody's competition. They have to be over everybody.
I think for this particular neighbor, I think for her, being friends with us meant she was going to have to work too hard.
Yeah. But we're not people. You don't have to work around us. You just be who you are.
We're just cool.
Yeah,
like, don't y'all think we're cool? We're just cool people.
But we're not gonna dumb ourselves down for anybody either.
No, we're not dumbing ourselves down. Absolutely not.
I think that's what she.
And those are the individuals that she hung out with.
Yeah.
That's who she hung out with. That's why I was saying, like, when we hung out with them at the bowling alley, I was like, wow, okay.
And I think you should hang out with a broad spectrum of people.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with hanging out with people that maybe you have to lift up, but you also should hang out and be comfortable with people that are on your level or even above your level. That's how you learn things in life.
Right.
But she, I think, was the type that always wanted to be the alpha female.
Yep.
And
not gonna happen.
And not with this chick.
Not gonna happen. No. Well, we can all get together, be cool, lift one another up, but you will not be towering down on me.
No.
That will never happen.
Not at 40 plus years.
Right,
no.
right.
I'm an adult. Sorry.
Right. I've lived too long, and it's just really sad that after, you know, we're not crazy. We every week that went by, we kind of
sensed it, yeah. Even when we first met her, and it just got worse, yeah. Yeah,
we could see the breakdown in the relationship, and it just made it really bad because these were townhouses, so all of the mailboxes are up at the front. So, you know, it's inevitable. You're gonna see the individual up at the mailbox. And even going back to the first house, when, you know, the weather is nice, you want to hang out with the kids, you come home to the cul-de-sac thinking you're gonna hang out outside, but because you're not speaking to the neighbors anymore, it's awkward. So if they are already outside, then you just go. We would just go in the house. You're like, well, they beat us to the cul-de-sac today, so we're not gonna let Chase play outside.
So maybe y'all have had better luck. If there's a secret to it, let us know.
Yeah, let us know what you do. I tell you, boy, these adult relationships, it is really it can be complicated.
So what do you have to say? I mean, some of our former neighbors might be watching this. What do you have to say to them?
Look, I don't know if they watch my channel. What do any of you who watch my channel have YouTube channels? And if you do the people in your circle, family, friends, do they know that you have a YouTube channel? I don't have a lot of people don't know. Yeah. But let's just say they kind of come across my channel. What do I have to say to them? I don't know. Bye, Felicia.
Yes.
Bye, guys.